These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment. I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers. No amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created.
There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We respond to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record, right here, I got 12 seconds. Will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes?
Those are not the policies that we would have in the state of New York. Those are not the policies we would have in a
Were they wrong? Should they have turned that guy over to ICE? It's a simple question, Governor. This is sanctuary policy. This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even condemn something that anyone with common sense knows is ridiculous.
Chair recognizes Ms. Stefanik from New York.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say that. I read what it says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zepeda Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're
These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zepeda Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of your sanctuary state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove them.
You did not in this case. They are walking on the streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will explain to you the policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just trying to.
You do not. Specifically, ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell
We
you
do
who
not-
that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo Diaz? Do you know who that
I am
is?
telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for
regulations
these victims.
only deal with
This is a
civil
5-year-old who
enforcement.
was raped
Civil
on Long
enforcement.
Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement,
That is
you
not true.
prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes
true.
of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York
These are
families.
horrific crimes, and they're
They're
heartbreaking.
horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather
the
than going
chairman's-
after the viral moment, I suggest you
No,
look
no,
at the
no.
facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers.
No.
Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating for
cooperate in
victims,
all
a
those
5-year-old
cases.
who
We
was raped,
cooperate with ICE.
you did not. They were released
We
because
cooperate
of
with
sanctuary
ICE.
state
We
policies in New
cooperate
York
with
State.
law
No
enforcement.
amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created. And with that, I
Your
yield back.
representation, the facts,
Gentlelady,
absolutely
yield-
false.
yield- Chair now recognizes Mr. Jordan from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, third paragraph, second sentence in your written testimony, you said New York State cooperates with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in criminal cases. Governor, who's Jesus Romero Hernandez?
Thank you. I want to reaffirm that we do cooperate in cases where
That wasn't the question. I just read your statement. I can read your statement. Who is Jesus Romero Hernandez?
I don't have the details on every
I'll
single
tell ya.
person in a state of 20 million people.
I understand, but this guy's a citizen of Mexico, deported 7 times, came to your state, assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, then when he was in custody, assaulted a corrections officer. ICE finds out this guy is in your state's custody, and they send you a detainer. You're familiar with a detainer, right?
Yes, I am.
Notice of action, immigration detainer to Tompkins County Jail from Syracuse Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Section 1, they check a couple boxes. The first one they check is a final order of removal against the alien has taken place. That means a court has said this guy needs to go. This machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy needs to go. Then they also check another box and they say biometric confirmation of who this individual is, this alien's identity. So they got the right guy, and a court has said he needs to go. Any idea what Tompkins County Jail decided to do with that detainer order?
I will tell you this, the state
No,
of
it's
New
a specific question.
No, I'm
What
telling you-
did Tompkins County do?
the descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and
course they are.
reprehensible to all of us. My job is to
which
protect
is
the
why I'm
people of
asking
New
the
York.
question. What
And
did
this-
Tompkins County do?
What I have
I
responsibility
will tell you,
for are
since you're not going to
state
answer,
courts,
we
state
cannot
police.
and will not hold Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah.
We can't keep the machete guy who had choked a police officer and assaulted a corrections officer. We can't keep him. In fact, we have the back and forth from Tompkins County and ICE on January 28th of this year, 8:56 p.m. Tompkins County tells ICE, we're not going to hold this guy. 7 minutes later, ICE responds back, we will be there to take custody this evening. 24 minutes later, Thompson County reiterates, we're not going to have him. We're not going to turn him over. 10:45. ICE arrives at the jail. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, and guess what? Mr. Hernandez is not there. They couldn't wait 1 hour and 18 minutes for a guy who assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, and then when in custody, assaulted corrections officers. That is sanctuary policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is I control state police and prisons. We have turned over 1,300 people.
So you disagree with it?
We turn over 1,300
Did the sheriff make the wrong
people.
call?
Those are local policies that we would not have done in the state of New York. State of New York, that is a
So you're
local
saying the sheriff's
decision.
wrong?
I would say this, if it happened in a state prison, we have already turned over 1,300 people. And in
Sheriff in
fact,
Tompkins County,
I
a
want to say
Democrat or
this.
Republican, Governor?
There
Hochul?
have
You any
been
idea?
times, excuse
The
me,
sheriff in Thompson County, a Democrat or
excuse
Republican?
me, excuse me, there
No,
have been
excuse
times
me, I
when
ask the questions, you give the
Well, I'm
answers. Is he a
asking
Democrat or
for a
Republican? Do
second.
you know?
I'm asking for this moment to explain that I'm sometimes
I'm
waiting
asking,
for ICE
is he a
to come
Democrat
pick
or
up
Republican,
people.
and do you agree with the
believe
actions
he's a
he took?
Democrat.
Do you agree with the actions he took? How about that question?
They are in conflict with what the state of New York would do.
Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times. We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We respond to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's
will you say on the
necessary.
record right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes? Was
Those are
Tompkins
not the
County
policies
wrong?
that we would have in the state of
No,
New
no,
York. Those
but-
are not the policies we would have in a
Were they
nation.
wrong? Should
Because
they
I've
have
already
turned
said
that guy over to ICE? It's a
I've-
simple question, Governor.
that was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there. And
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
it is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or
in the
disagree?
state of New York,
Agree or
the person
disagree?
should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state
appreciate
with
the chair's
respect to
indulgence. I
prison.
yield back.
And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor, a
up.
court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a
This is
crime. We
sanctuary
turn them
policy.
over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even
You're
condemn something that anyone
mischaracterizing.
with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the
Chair.
laws of the state
I
of
had the
New York.
facts here.
That's
Oh,
all
can I
right.
do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury
give
to
him a
himself and
minute.
to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy is not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell, it'll be go back to his
Gentlemen,
country under our
time's
orders.
expired.
Assembly members Zohran Mamdani by 12 points. Cuomo announced this week he is still in the race. He's running as an independent. So is incumbent Mayor Eric Adams. He's also running as an independent. Curtis Sliwa, the founder of the Guardian Angels, is running as a Republican. So to start off the conversation, what exactly is the state of the race right now?
Well, the state of the race is that it's a wide open contest. And democratic primary processes are one thing, but a general election is a different thing. And I would say that while Mamdani has the progressive vote and support from the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, Andrew Cuomo is very, very competitive in a general election. And in fact, if you put the two of them head to head in a general election setting, Cuomo wins by 15 points. So in a direct matchup, Cuomo is ahead with independents breaking for him, Republicans breaking for him, and half of Democrats breaking for him. However, in a more open race, a four-way race, if it stands as it is. Mandami is at 26%. Cuomo is at 23%, so within the margin of error of the poll. Sliva is at 22%, also within the margin of error. Adams is at 13%, so significantly far beyond the three leading contenders who are tied, and about 15% are undecided. So we're just beginning in this process, and I think that there's going to be a lot of interesting events in the lead up to this contest.
That is a really interesting set of numbers there. I have seen some Mamdani critics saying, hey, Cuomo, you had your shot to beat him and you didn't. Now it's time for you to step aside, and Mayor Eric Adams is our best chance. But based on the numbers here, you're saying that's not really so, right? In a head-to-head matchup, who beats Mamdani by a bigger margin, Cuomo or Adams?
Cuomo beats Mamdani by a significantly higher margin. So, as I mentioned, in a head-to-head matchup, 50% would vote for Cuomo, 35% would vote for Mamdani, and 16% are on the fence, not sure, similar to what we saw in the forward race. But when you look at Mamdani v. Adams, Mamdani is at 43%, Adams is at 36%, so Mamdani is 7 points ahead, and 21% are unsure. And this makes a lot of sense because Adams' favorabilities after the scandals, the corruption scandals that have come on, is significantly low. Today, 56% have an unfavorable view towards Adams. Only 37% have a favorable view. So that's a delta or net negative of 19 points. When you look at Mamdani, polarizing figure, but he's at 42% favorability, 45% unfavorable, so a net difference of 3 within the margin of error, and 13% haven't formed their opinion around him. But when you look at Cuomo is at 40% favorable, so a favorability rating that's 5 points higher than Mamdani and 10 points higher than Adams, and 45% unfavorable. And given that he's been the governor...
Rep. Jordan, a staunch conservative and chair of the House Judiciary Committee, has consistently criticized New York's sanctuary policies, which he believes prioritize illegal immigrants over the needs of American citizens. His rhetoric is blunt and forceful, accusing Governor Hochul and her administration of shielding illegals at the expense of hardworking New Yorkers. To Jordan, this is more than just a political issue. It's a matter of national security and public safety. He argues that New York's stance emboldens illegal immigration, places undue pressure on law enforcement, and creates a dangerous precedent for other states. Governor Hochul, on the other hand, fiercely defends the state's policies, framing them as compassionate and necessary for New York's identity as a haven for immigrants. She contends that New York has always been a sanctuary for those seeking a better life, and that the state is simply doing its part in addressing a broader humanitarian crisis. In her view, Jordan's criticisms are politically motivated, weaponizing immigration as a tool to stoke division rather than seeking practical, long-term solutions to the issue. This clash highlights the broader divide in the U.S. on immigration. Whether to embrace a more inclusive, rights-based approach or to double down on enforcement and border security. As the debate intensifies, the question remains: can states like New York balance compassion with the practical realities of an overwhelmed system? And can Jim Jordan's hardline stance lead to the kind of reforms